Hey Aries, what's going on, my Aries Creative Collective? This is your foundational flourishing reading. Your reading for the partial solar eclipse in Taurus, and we're doing this. Let's dive in, okay? Um, Foundational flourishing. Just an aside, I meditated a bit on the energies of the eclipse, and I came up with this imagery of growing and planting deep roots in something. So this is like new energy, but I think it's almost like a new energy that you can't see yet. It struck me as under the surface, and that's where I thought foundational flourishing, because I feel like there is an energy moving forward that's really beautiful. But we'll dive in and see what else Spirit has to say, okay? So I would like to invite the angels, my guardian angels, my spirit guides, protectors, teachers, and their healing energy to this space, and I ask that it is a safe and brave space that allows for the fullest expression of our light, humanity, ascension, and healing. Okay, so I'm going to pull from the Journey of Love Oracle first, and I'll put the links to these decks in the description below so you can check those out. If they tickle your fancy. Spirit, can I get some messages for Aries, this foundational flourishing energy, please? She loves. It's gorgeous energy. The breaking. She loves. We also have the breaking. The temple. Ooh, I'm getting a big rebuilding vibe off of this for you, Aries. The breaking. I'm going to read that to you. The breaking. I see readers read it at the end, but I'm super duper interested and curious about that because I have some definite vibes of like breaking things down to rebuild them in a way that suits you more. And this is kind of to me, this is sort of the tension, the climactic energy, the sort of crescendo of your self-awareness. So I find it quite interesting that we have the breaking. And side note, I do get images of like this phoenix rising, right? So I'll read this to you. So you are breaking apart. You might not understand it at all. There is not so much to be understood, but the simplicity doesn't mean it is easy to endure. You may worry that you are going too far, that you may not recover or ever come back together again. But what can you do? Can you hold back from the divine love that calls you, that lures you to becoming all that you are, to remembering your divine nature? Well, you could try, but for what purpose? Temporary rest before the storm at best. So take the rest if you need it, then dive into the storm. Let yourself be brokenhearted by the divine so that you can become your truth, become all that you are meant to be. It is better to have the heart broken so that it grows than to be brokenhearted by thinking that you must protect yourself from love. Whoa! 333 was just on the time when I got super duper goosebumps on that. Wow. This oracle brings compassionate guidance that no matter what sadness or anger, despair or frustration you may feel, you are being pulled apart not by dark forces, but by the loving embrace of the divine as it strips you of that which would keep you from your divine realization. Let go and break. It is going to be the making of you. Wow. Oh, that line. Let go and break. It is going to be the making of you. Aries. Damn. And then I have this as well, the temple, which to me is like a rebuilding. To me, it strikes me as a rebuilding here. It strikes me as you going within and understanding the temple within you. Not only that, it also strikes me as you rebuilding yourself and rebuilding something here. I'm really getting that this is you rebuilding parts of yourself. Dang, Aries. I'm going to clarify this with the Smith-Waite Tarot. Wow. Oh, that was like not a good shuffle at all. 5 out of 10. Spirit, can I get some clarity here on this she loves? I'm getting 9 of Pentacle vibes on this. Let me just move the microphone here so that it's less in my face. There we go. And I can shuffle and not pollute your ears with some banging there. So she loves. Spirit, what have you got for me here? Clarifying this energy. 6 of Cups. I'm getting this like Jupiter inner child vibes off of this. Aries, what's going on here? 4 of Pentacles. I just had imagery of an oak tree and the depth of roots and how they can survive for hundreds of years. On my reading list, there's a book called The Oak Papers, and it talks about that and just the way that meditating with oak trees, that particular author, it really helped him. And maybe that's something to think about, is just meditating with trees and sitting beneath one and remembering that they've been around for hundreds of years, Aries, hundreds. Oak trees in particular have an incredible lifespan. And I think there's one in Britain in particular that was around when the Magna Carta was signed. And like that's a very colonial, timestamp in history. But just to give you that idea, like these trees have seen everything, right? And it's that depth of perspective. And it's almost like I'm getting this idea of spirit and time beholding you with the same long take. King of Cups here. Yeah. And it's like, I think you need to understand how to behold yourself in the same way. Beholding yourself in the same way. The 4 of Pentacles to me is kind of it's like you want to be offered something a little more permanent, and it's like clinging to things out of fear. But the King of Cups is here. I think the King of Cups is here to remind you to embrace and support yourself and be supportive, embracing the ways that you are so that like these things can fall apart. Like the King of Cups can show up in many different kinds of energy, but I think it's showing up in maybe like it's showing up in very compassionate energy right now. Okay, I'm just going to take the one from the top. So we have the Fool. Yeah, and that's like the leap in, right? The leap inward. Okay, so we're going to dive into the breaking here. So I feel like this energy is it's very loud, but it's also so beautiful. So we have Death and the 5 of Pentacles. Yeah, that's definitely like super duper Scorpio Pluto energy. I think that it's really breaking apart. What's breaking apart is this consciousness of yourself and your abundance that you've had. The Magician is here to say that this point, whatever this kind of breaking point has been or is for you, Aries, I get that it is, there's something you need to understand about the temporariness of all of this and the impermanence of our lives here, right? Just the reason why is the Magician is sort of your eternal self, right? Your eternal self. And my third eye is itching. I feel like I just had the image fly in as I started to massage my third eye of the temple being related to your crown chakra, your 8th chakra, which is the Akashic Record chakra, and also the one that connects you to past lives. The temple, I'm getting this way that this is like the doorway to the temple. So the temple that you're building within you is one thing, but I think that there's a more cosmically or astrally oriented temple that you're being invited to step into. And that may be what you're manifesting right now. It's very abstract, but I think that there's a way that you're, like this story, this Five of Pentacles story is just no longer working for you. You're healing that. And if you haven't healed that already, I feel like that's the breaking apart though. I don't get that this is like a to be healed yet. Like, let me just put a Post-it note on that page. I feel like you're, and I just saw the Page of Wands when I said page. I get that there's a moving forward that you're doing here from that already, and that's the breaking apart, is you leaving something behind. And the Magician here is reminding you that you're coming back from this. You're returning. I'm hearing Saturn return. Your return is much stronger. And I'm also smelling campfire smoke, and there's no like it's like fireplace wood smoke. Wow. And I'm not burning anything here, and there's nothing going off that would signal that there's a fire. So sometimes that happens with scents and things like that. They just pop in at random. I feel like there's yeah, I was going to say, I feel like there's a way that you're seeking balance, but you're understanding that the way that you've given to other people, okay, I have to get this clear because it relates to the Five of Pentacles. The way that you've given to other people, it's not that you've been in an empty place or you've been out in the cold. The way that you've given to other people has left you with so little, Aries, that when it comes to filling up your own cup, what ended up happening was you had very little to give yourself. So you looked outside of you. And then this is where it kind of screwed with your manifestations, and it denied you access to this higher place inside of you because you were very focused on 3D. So you had like no time for 5D. It was very limited in how you could give yourself that, I'm hearing access to the staircase. But there's then the Ace of Swords came out as this was coming through. This came out as well. And that to me is like a confirmation of the truth. But I think that this is also part of you recognizing boundaries and what it is that you want to restructure your boundaries for, your why. The foundational flourishing here, Aries, is about connecting to your why. Like, why is this happening? What is this here to teach you, right? What is this transformation teaching you? And I feel like this is part of it, is not just having more time for yourself, right? Not just a self-care thing. And this could just be the abundance of Uranian energy in my chart. But I feel like it's like this this connection to expanding on things that matter to the collective too, right? Like we can give in a bunch of different ways, but we also have to recognize that spirit wants to give to us. And sometimes connecting to your higher self, to these different, I'm hearing dimensions, but really it's just getting into meditative states that allow you to connect with wisdom that's higher than you. And that's the truth here. This truth is this wisdom that's higher than you. And I don't think it's higher than you in a hierarchical sense. I just mean that it's higher than you in terms of vibrations right now, or it has been. But there's a coming together here. Death is like fertile soil to me. It's a comforting energy. Like, some people see the death card and they're like, oh shit. And I feel like, man, there's so much opportunity in that card, right? There's so much life there, right? This is like it's regeneration. It's like, I think about how they used to do controlled burns in specific areas, and the nutrients in the ashes of the place would create such a different ecosystem after, and it provides so much nourishment for the soil as well. So it's like remembering that as you rise like this phoenix, like as you rise here and things fall apart, there is a nutrient content that is being added to the soil that is balancing pH, that is balancing how plants will be able to take root, and specific plants that may not have been, native to that area are now able to flourish. So I'm thinking about beliefs, and we're using a metaphor here, right? So beliefs that will be able to take root that couldn't before because the quality of the soil was not conducive to the growth or the the establishment of those specific beliefs, my darling Aries. So I feel like this is you getting into that alignment and understanding where I'm hearing where the where the fertilizer is coming from, and some people, talk about like, I used the shit that happened to me as the soil that built my life back up. That kind of idea. It's not the specific metaphor or quote, but you get the gist. Actually, I have to look that phrase up. I'm not sure if that's a problematic one or not. Side note. You get the idea. How about that? You get the idea. I feel almost like this integration of spiritual wisdom for you, my Aries pals, is really going to be important. This integration of wisdom. And I think this is, maybe it's not necessarily spiritual awakening, it can be, but I'm getting that there's something that you're more connected to spiritually than you were before. And the high priestess comes out. Yeah, very true. Yeah, it's completely on point for you, Aries. I'm getting this like portal opening up inside of you that's allowing you to access this wisdom, and it might make you feel off balance for a while before as you acclimate to this new energy. Yeah, but I think it's one that is good for you. I think it's a good energy for you, and it's important to lean into it constructively. And there's the Page of Wands. Shit, I knew that's the Page of Wands imagery, right? And that's where I think this is going to inspire a whole new way of being for you with this High Priestess here and the Ace of Swords. Oh, what is that about? So we have the Seven of Swords. I'm getting that this is energy that you've been used to. And this is sort of like the skepticism with which you view everything for the time being. And I think this Seven of Swords is sort of looking at it like, take only what you need. Like, don't you dare take more than just your serving. And we're not taking from other people. Like, this is less than the phrasing of that. The energy of this to me is you feeling like by getting what you want, and by manifesting, by being in this Page of Wands energy, by embarking on something new, by being in this Magician energy, it almost feels like what you're actually doing is taking from others, right? It's like you have the collective on your mind, and you feel like you're good is taking from other people, but it's really not. It's adding to it. And I think that's another shift that is starting to happen under the surface. I'm hearing bubbling under the surface. Wow, Aries. So this, like, I feel like this is sort of an awakening for you. This is a definite awakening into abundance, and an abundance not just related to finances. I think this is abundance of being. Like, we talk about the Ace of Cups as bringing in love, but what I'm getting here is that you're understanding the truth of the cup in the first place, is what I just heard. 1818 was on the time. So it's like you're understanding the truth of the cup in the first place. Interesting. I don't know if you can hear it. My stomach is rumbling for some reason. That's like there's thunder happening in my belly. Fire in the belly. That could be, you could feel like that about something after this, Aries, after this shift, right? After this eclipse shift, or the energy shift of the eclipse. This is the chakra deck. So I'm going to pull from here just to get some additional messages to empower you and to get you on, to put the bounce in your step, because this is foundational, Aries. Like, I'm so grateful that I had Foundational Flourishing come to me as a way to frame this, because it really is, that didn't shuffle at all. It really is how you are, how you're moving through this eclipse energy. Dang. Divine will. And there's like divine timing here too. There's a lot of divine timing. I align my will with the divine will, and this is the crown chakra as well. So like I said, there's something about crown chakra, 8th chakra. There's not a ton of writing about the 8th chakra right now. I had to do a ton of research on it when I got my concussion, because that was something that I feel like I cracked right open, because there were a lot of experiences I started having afterwards. And I needed staples in my head. Like, it was not a good time, but I think it did open that up more. I think it removed a huge block. But that's how I started to read up on the eighth chakra. So I know that there's some information. So just be discerning with where you get your information. Always do a gut check and ask spirit if it's the right information for you. Okay. So divine will. I align my will with the divine will, allowing wisdom from the higher realms to support and guide my evolution on this earth. Wow, this is so, I'm just going to hold this up while I read this because I grow when I settle into the service of myself and others. I leave space for the magic of the universe to play in my life. I allow the unfolding. Yes, absolutely. And this part right here, I leave space for the magic of the universe to play in my life. We focus on inner child healing and we talk about play as a way to reconnect with that, right? We're healing ourselves from the inside out. And what's always amazing to me is the way that the universe plays in our lives in turn. And I think that maybe that's something you'll need to focus on and be more attuned to synchronicities, Aries, and really attentive to the ways that these show up for you, my lovelies. Self-expression. The passion felt in me cannot help but be expressed as I use my voice to put my message, wisdom, and teaching out into the world. What I have to say is important, and I will say it. I now make myself heard as my heart and soul express through my body, eyes, and voice. I speak up. Yes, that's another big theme here, right? Especially with the Fool. And I think self-expression also starts with self-awareness, right, Aries? So, and as per our usual, I'm going to pull from the Miracles Now deck by Gabrielle Bernstein. It's kind of one of my anchor decks. I used to pull these and put them on the corner of my vision board every week. Some of them still have the little tack holes in them before I started to just nestle them into the corner. Spirit, can I get some messages for my Aries Creative Collective for this solar eclipse, our foundational flourishing? You want me to start with? Okay, that's fine. Okay, so I just heard put a pin in it, and then to you pull from this deck, which is my Course in Miracles deck, Everyday Miracles. So I'll put the link to this one in the description below because I haven't really used it yet with you guys here. So we're gonna give that a go. This is by Robert Holden. Whoa. There is nothing my holiness cannot do. And I think that holiness in this context is the Course in Miracles. A Course in Miracles uses specific language, but what I love about this is this idea of holiness being this oneness with spirit, this connection to spirit, this understanding that you are divinity here. You know, you're a spiritual being having a human experience. So there's nothing that your awareness of that and that you as that spiritual being cannot do. And what we want to do when we're in that place, when we're connected and in this temple internally, when we're connected to that place, what we want to do, like people say, well, you can do anything, but do you want to? But the funny part is that when you're connected to this temple inwardly, what you want to do changes. It changes, and it's this beautiful unfolding and unfurling like of petals, sort of, 2323 was just on the time. So your holiness reverses all the laws of the world. It is beyond every restriction of time, space, distance, and limits of any kind. I'm getting major 8th chakra things from here. Like you may want to look into past life regression, but also past life channeling, and possibly also past life channeling, but I'm also getting this way of I'm almost getting this entrance to the, cosmic library, book of life, Akashic records, that kind of thing as the doorway here, like you're stepping towards it. And that's sort of this, it is beyond every restriction of time, space, distance, and limits of any kind. And understanding that that's part of divine will too, right? Divine will and divine timing. And that when you get into that place, when you're in that 8th chakra energy, when you're in the records, time ceases to exist. Time ceases to exist, and you have an understanding of this. It's very hard to explain when I've gone into the records and when I've channeled, first, it feels like my crown chakra expands and is welcoming in, information and energy to be exchanged. But what happens is it's like you understand where you come from, And it does things with time that rearranges your understanding of it in that moment, where it's to say time ceases to exist does not do the beauty of that justice. So Aries, it may be about connecting to that place of timelessness within you, your eternal self. And I'm just seeing this now. Like if you look, you can see the magician right here, and there's that eternity sign over the head of the magician. So it's like this is all sort of bringing together this eternal you. Wow, Aries. Okay. Now I'm going to pull from the Miracles Now deck, because I feel like that was what Spirit wanted me to know and for us to know. In order to awaken the world to the light, I must not be afraid to shine. Hell yes, Aries. This is all big. Like, this is big cosmic stuff here. In order to awaken the world to the light, I must not be afraid to shine. And that reminds me too, like you can see the magician here holding up the candle, right, to shine the light. In order to awaken the world to the light, in order to awaken the world to the light, I must not be afraid to shine. I tried to read it backwards and it didn't work. So Aries, you've got some big things changing here, and big things in a more celestial sense, more cosmic sense than 3D. So this is a big 5D shift for you. But I really love it. This energy is beautiful. This is the foundational shift, right? This is the foundational flourishing. And I think for you, being connected to that, not just about being connected to the 5D emotion, not just being connected to the process of 5D, but to the space that opens up, the expanse that opens up in your energy when you do that, and how it allows you to connect with the whole of life, and to remember that you in turn are whole and complete as well. So Aries, this was your reading. If this resonated, please like and subscribe. It helps me to grow the channel. And of course, it is something that I love to do, this, tarot and guidance on here. So I'm very grateful for all of your watches, your likes, your comments, how you engage with the channel. It makes, it warms my heart so very much. And I'm very grateful for it. So thank you. If you want to connect with me in other ways, we also have a ton of different content on here. And do check out the Course in Miracles, so A Course in Creativity. We're doing that this week. Every day we're going into a workbook lesson, just a short little video to kind of bring us into this wonderfully creative and generative space. If this is if this is where we leave and part today, Aries, I wish you nothing but a wonderful morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you are on the time-space continuum. I hope that it finds you well, in joy, and in a tremendous amount of light and healing, not to mention love. All right, take care, Aries. Bye.